This is Don't Panic, episode number 374, recorded November 6th, 2023. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Don't Panic, the technology podcast that sometimes talks about technology. I'm Sean Jennings, joined by two guys who have all the discounted Halloween candy they could ever eat. It's Colby Rabideau and Dan Miller. Good evening, gentlemen.
I certainly do have a lot of disc.
Yes. Was it last week where we talked about Halloween? Did we talk about Halloween? Yes.
Yeah, how did it go, Dan?
Yes.
How did it go at the house?
Let me pull up. I wrote up a report, actually, legitimately.
This is good. We should get in the habit of this.
Yeah. Let me pull it up. First visit, because this was a question I had, 4:50 p.m. The people across the street. And they were moving with a purpose. So they were not on our block for long. They hit all, and then I don't know where they went. Last visit, 8:15 p.m. And I think I mentioned last week, we only had one large bag of Costco candy. And we only went through about a third of it. I would say somewhere between only 20 and 40 total visitors. I would say closer to 30 or 40 than 20. We had a couple, like 3 groups of 8. And then a couple much smaller groups. Lena did run her social experiment, providing no guidance to the kids on how much candy they should take. And I would say that 90% of kids took one piece of candy when offered no instructions. No questions asked, didn't even think about it. A couple of kids took one and then asked if they could have more. And then Lena would say yes, they could have as much as they want. And I would say on average, those people took 4 more. So an average of 5 for the people who asked more. Only one person took a giant handful without asking. So overall, I would say you're shocked that we didn't get more traffic. Though the fact that our Halloween decor consisted of one pumpkin on the steps was maybe a contributing factor. Although I learned of another contributing factor the other day, which was, we talked last week about how when I was growing up, the densest neighborhoods were always the most attractive places to go to because you could get so much stuff. But little did I know that we are being usurped by, we lost Colby, by an even more dense neighborhood, which is the street where all the businesses are on. They're all handing out candy. So everybody goes there and they don't necessarily wander around, which is too bad. But yeah, overall, it went way better in some ways than I thought it would, because we didn't run out of candy, but also way worse in that we didn't have that many people, I feel like.
Now, interesting. First of all, I'm glad your social experiment proved that man truly is good. And you will spare
kids
us
are
all.
good, at least.
Yeah. We haven't lost this generation yet. My question for you, and what I'm curious about is, especially as you got later into the night, and it was sort of, I would assume, their last stop or one of their last stops, how much volume were these kids getting of candy? Were they getting a lot, a little? Like, how full were their bags?
Oh.
No, just as they were, because that's my question, is, were they taking one piece because they knew they were hitting a lot of houses? Or were they just not getting that much candy total?
To be honest, I
the bag
don't
so
remember.
heavy that they couldn't pick.
And they're like, maybe one more.
Struggling to get it up the 5 steps.
I've seen kids like that come to my house. Don't laugh. I've seen it. They go nuts.
I didn't think to check, Sean. Next year, I will look. I will say,
yeah, you need a new experiment.
We do need a new experiment. One of the funniest things was this, like, I assume they're brother and sister. There's one adult standing way back, and there are these 2 kids. And the brother was relatively gregarious as far as kids go. He asked them, like, oh, what's your costume? And he told us in very little words, but he told us. It was a full, complete sentence. And what I assume was his sister was like, it was her body language with regards to our door and the box of candy was like Indiana Jones taking the thing off the altar. She was fully pressed up against the side of the door frame with her like this way. Her chest was facing out, and her just one hand, and it slowly moved towards the thing. That it hesitated. She grabbed one and quickly moved it back, and then sort of sidled back. but kept staring at us the entire time as if we were a dangerous, predator, which was just so funny. And we were like, and we asked her like, "What's your costume?" And she just stared at us like we were a terrifying monster. And then her brother answered. So that was the funniest thing that happened.
Did you notice any? I just like quizzing you. Did you notice any costume trends this year? What was hot? What was the hot costume?
I didn't notice any costume trends. Again, I think I could only name 2 costumes though. So they were definitely mostly costumes that I remember recognizing, like, oh, it's a shark or something like that, and not like what's that? There was one costume that my friend who was over was like, "Oh my god, you're so and so from this thing that I'd never heard of," and she's like, "Oh my god, you got it!" And I was like, "Wow, okay." So there was definitely one I didn't know, but most of them felt familiar and not like. Again, compared to the Etsy Halloween party, these were, I would guess, 95% store bought.
Sure.
We were sort of one of the large groups of people, and this was kind of interesting, was a group of kids dressed as police that very aggressively knocked on our door as if it was like a drug bust or something. And these weren't like teenagers. I would guess these were, somewhere between 10 and 13 years old. So that was a little aggressive and also kind of an interesting choice in Seattle to dress up as police officers and wander around. But yeah, mostly uneventful. We started a new tradition. We watched Young Frankenstein
Nice.
throughout the night, which was fun. Yeah.
Nice. Sounds like you had a good time.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I did pull up something. I did finally get a picture of me in my Halloween costume. If
Okay.
you'd like to see it in the old camera up to the phone vision.
Oh my God. It's perfect.
Yeah, the mustache really makes it.
Yeah.
But
Now, why did you decide to go with Luigi and not Mario?
I've always been a Luigi guy. I was, maybe it's because I'm a middle child. I don't know this. Like, I'm sure there's some psychology book somebody wrote once where it's like, if you think you're Luigi, you're blankety blank. But I always played as Luigi. I got respect. He's overrated. He's had too much. Luigi, he's just a nice guy. He's just doing his thing.
And Luigi, a better character in Super Smash Brothers. So there you go.
And overall, so yeah, I do wonder if there's like one of those BuzzFeed quizzes, like which Mario character are you? Because I wonder.
Someone
if I
wrote their PhD on what the psychology of Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah. Yep, and I'm sure I failed whatever test that was. So, well, good. I'm glad we survived and cruised happily into November.
We made it.
Yes, it's already here. Yeah, I guess this is a little bit of a programming note, but if you look at my flighty, it gets truly nuts. I mean, it says like how many days away are your flights. Here's my like list: 3, 16, 14, 32, 40, 42, 46, 53. So yeah, the next 2 months are going to be pretty interesting. It's basically already. What I mean is, it's basically already December for me.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
It just added a bunch of. It literally just added more flights when I was looking at it.
Yeah, so a bunch of mine got canceled, but really they were just like we had booked them 9 months in advance, and it just I don't know why they do this, but then everything changed, and so I had to re-add them back.
And you got a bunch of odd Australian flights in here I've never even heard of.
Yes.
Launceston and Hobart.
A turducken vacation.
Oh my goodness. Vacation in a vacation.
Vacation in a vacation. In a vacation?
Yes.
It's exciting. You're getting all over. Los Angeles, New York, Phoenix. Dan, you're seeing this. You've got to be racking up the miles here.
Yeah, not really. I've been flying exclusively Alaska this year, and they're like, you only have, and this is, I've already booked these things, right? You only have like 26,000 miles more to go until the lowest possible status. I'm like, okay, not happening.
No, that's what someone once told. A heavy traveler once told me. They said, until you get the credit card of the airline, don't even bother with points, because that's how you really like super boost the points is with the credit card. If you're just earning frequent flyer, you're never going to get anywhere.
Lena got it 1 year because she traveled internationally like once every 2 months.
Yeah.
And that did it. But otherwise, yeah, I have not come close.
I got the frequent flyer on Amtrak once. That was fun.
That's right. So did I. Yeah, when I worked for the Rhode Island company. That was nice.
Yeah, right. Right.
That one wasn't too bad. You didn't have to take, I feel like you could take like 10 or fewer and
I think
at least
they-
New York to Boston ish routes and you were in.
Yeah. We always took the Acela, which is by default, like any ticket on the fast train is business class, which gets you more. But I also think they have like tiers of it, and I was only ever first tier of like
You weren't at the Joe Biden tier.
No, that's hard. That's dedication.
Excellent. Well, anything else of note, gentlemen? I don't want to rush us past the banter section of the show before we get into the meat of it.
I don't think so. I installed more smart light switches this weekend. It went much more smoothly than last time. Did I tell you about the light bulbs, the dimmable light bulbs last time? Okay, yeah. The same thing happened this time. And I was like, before I freak out and before I start messing with the wires again, I'm going to take all the light bulbs from downstairs that I know work with these switches and put them upstairs. And then it worked fine. I was like, okay, great.
Nice.
The only complication, there's always a complication, right? Is that the little lamp that hangs on the ceiling, the light bulbs, the dimmable light bulbs that we got are, and I learned all about this. There are different size light bulbs. Like A19 is the standard size light bulb.
Mhm.
The light bulbs in there are A19 light bulbs. The light bulbs that I placed them with are A19 light bulbs, but they are slightly bigger, and the lamp no longer fits over the light bulbs. So now we're transitioning into an industrial look in the upstairs, or it's actually very chic, right? It's just like a thing coming down from the ceiling, and then a little T-bar and 2 light bulbs hanging off of it. You know, paint that gold, and you could put it in Restoration Hardware right now.
You guys have great taste. Very classy.
That's nice.
Nice.
There's still 2 light switches in my apartment that are not. I kind of forgot about them until.
Get them on the list.
Well, I've been thinking, how far down this rabbit hole should I go? The bathrooms seem unnecessary because at least our bathrooms
used
only
to
have one
think that
way in
too.
and one way out. It's very difficult to leave the lights on. Or it's not difficult, but you always have an opportunity to turn them off. Which cuts down on it a lot. The bedrooms that only Sean and Colby have ever slept in, I think I'm going to leave those as regular light switches for now.
They felt very dumb to me. I'm going to be honest. Sleeping in there,
Yeah.
not very smart.
Yeah.
See, I always like. I don't really turn towards bed, and the bathroom is the only one that doesn't. Is the only one on my path to bed that bright light switch.
Mm.
So, sometime you're groggy, brushing your teeth or whatever, you get into the button, and like it's still light. It's like, damn. Turn it off. Don't accept.
Yeah, it seems like you've crossed the threshold where it's well over 80% of your lights have them. Yeah.
I don't know if we've gotten into this. I'm starting to depreciate smart home assets in my home. I'm pulling away from the smart home in my house.
Sure.
I'm categorically over it. because it's become more of a hassle than it's worth.
What was the last straw?
Wise. I, for years on here, sung their praises and said, why would you buy the expensive stuff? Their stuff's just as good, only cheaper. Spoiler alert, it's not as good because a bunch of the cameras broke. So I had to buy a bunch new, more expensive cameras. And the door lock stopped working. So I had to go buy more expensive electronic door locks. And all this dumb shit where I'm just like, and then my Hue lights have been acting up. I'm just like, oh my God, like, I don't need any of this stuff and it's so expensive. And I'm just like, whenever you like, it's like throwing good money after bad. Like, I kind of feel like I'm in a smart home sinkhole where it's like, well, if the smart wall switch isn't working, you got to go buy a better one because this one's not working. And it's like, it's just too much, man. I'm just exhausted.
That's
So-
fair. I'm pretty sure I saved all of my dome light switches. I could send you a couple if you need them.
The great thing about dumb light switches is they're like 99 goddamn cents at Home Depot. I could refit the. By the way, I did that at my last house. Before I moved in, I literally replaced every single switch and outlet because they were all gross, and it cost me like $30 for the whole house to do all of them. So it's not, and then what ends up happening is I install them, and then I just go to the wall and hit the switch. Like I never feel I use them enough to justify. There's one or two, but yeah, it's not needed.
You're not a Lutron boy, Sean?
My wall switches are Lutron,
Okay.
and they work well. Those work well.
Yeah.
I haven't complained. A lot of problem is I'm a big lamp guy. In my house, so they're not on switches. So that's why I did all the Hue bulbs, and those have been getting. I've had those I got them 5-10 years ago, a long time ago, and they have just started to get really flaky, and they're not quite working right, and they don't respond as fast. And I don't know what the issue is, but I'm like, I am not replacing all those bulbs.
Yeah.
There was like a month where my Hue bulbs, and then they started working again.
Yeah, I've also had issues with the Hue bulbs. Luckily, the smart doorbell is the one thing I'm not 100% satisfied with. But I've had the garage door opener for about 6 months. That has never failed. Unlike my previous one, what's the $20 one that Amazon will sell you, and they'll give it to you for free if you let them open their garage to put their packages in or whatever that one is. That one was terrible. But the fancy one that Wirecutter recommended has been rock solid. The smart door lock so far has been rock solid. I've only had that for a couple months. And the Ring cameras have been really solid. And the light switches, like you said. So I think I've gotten lucky, but I used to have Hue bulbs, and I took them all out except for one that we use in the lamp. And yeah, once every 3 to 6 months, it just stops working in the on position, which is really annoying because that's the lamp in our bedroom. So like, all right, hey dingus, turn off the lights, and it's like, I'm sorry, but your thingy isn't responding. Like,
No.
But otherwise, I've been pretty lucky, I feel like.
But I'll give you an example, right? So I bought the Ring doorbell with the camera in it. To go with all the other Ring stuff. Great. It took me a while to figure out to get it to work, but I got it installed. The camera works. I, for the life of me, cannot get the little goddamn plug-in chime that comes with it to make noise when you push the bell. I've tried everything. So my doorbell does not ring. It buzzes my phone, but there is no audible chime in the house because and I think I'm just unlucky, or there's just way too many. People who say like they're allergic to Wi-Fi and stuff. Like, if it's possible to be that, there is so much going on in my house wirelessly. I think it's literally making me crazy. So I'm not like, I have like over 40 Wi-Fi devices in my house.
Let me count my
too many.
current count.
It's
see.
absolutely.
I only have
it's mental.
36.
Oh, it's bad.
Wow.
I know I'm over 40. I don't know what the current count is, but I know I'm over 40.
40. 36. This is like the car, watches, phones, PlayStation, smart
I got
outlets.
light bulbs, cameras, sensor. I got
I guess that's the thing
thermostat
because I'm mostly in Lutron or Hue. Each of those only count as one thing on the
True.
Wi-Fi,
True.
but the Ring
But
cameras are all on here.
I got Roku's. I've got
Yeah.
too much stuff.
Oh man.
So anyway.
17, 20
Ugh.
on my.
Yeah, but what's the math on the square footage? Like per square foot, how are we balancing that out? Because you actually that might be a lot.
Mine's
That is a lot.
We're 440 square feet.
Yeah. That's what that is about half a device per square foot. Wait, no, that doesn't make sense. Does it make sense?
No, isn't it the other way around? It would be more than one device a square foot.
Yes. No? I can't do math after 5
Colby, you got a lot of devices.
It's
We'll-
for every 22 square feet.
Okay, that's what yes.
So what you're saying is you could fit more.
Yeah. I bet there are some things around here that are like off or not using Wi-Fi.
I mean, there's I'll be honest, Colby, you inspired me after last week. Black Friday's coming up, a day where I wait all year to buy certain items because I know they'll go on sale, including potentially smart home items. So you never know. But one of the things, Colby, is my crock pot, my slow cooker is on its way out. And I've really been thinking about an Instant Pot. Yeah, you really got me thinking, and I'm like, but they make one with Wi-Fi in it now, and I'm like, I purposefully don't want the one with Wi-Fi in it. Like, I don't need, like, I've gone totally I'm anti-tech. It's terrible. I've ruined my
But
rep.
this has the same problem as the washing machine. What
Well, their
can
thing
you
is-
achieve on it with Wi-Fi that doesn't require interaction physically with the thing itself?
Well, you can start it and stop it and time it. You can also open the vent remotely. And then they have smart recipes that I guess you can do step by step with it or something. I'm not saying I don't think I need it.
Yeah.
But
I guess
Toaster
I work
oven
from
has
home,
Wi-Fi.
so it never occurred to me that you might want to start it remotely.
Sure.
Plus, that's the nice thing about an Instant
just never
Pot is it
connected.
doesn't take as long as a slow cooker. Yours has Wi-Fi, Colby?
My toaster oven
Not our Instant Pot is just
disconnected.
Instant Pot.
That seems even crazier to me. A toaster oven is like a very, instant. It's what's the word I'm looking for? Instant gratification sort of device in my mind.
So it is. I mean, it's a big toaster oven, so you can. It's like a small oven. You can make, which we do often, but it has all.
App and
You can like change the temperature over time. Like if you're making something where, I don't know, you want it to like cook and then get like extra toasty at the end to crisp the top or something, you can have it do that automatically. You can't turn it on remotely. You have to press the button. You can like set the program, but you have to physically press the on button, which is probably one thing that is interesting though is that when it turns on, it sends a notification to your phone. So did have it connected to the Wi-Fi, and I would be at work and I could tell when something because I would get
you didn't like prank her by turning it off and
right. You would get a notification that was like, oh, your toaster oven has reached, it's preheated. It's but
Have you seen those machines where there's a switch and you flick the switch and then a little arm pops out of a box and flicks it back? That's what Colby's toaster oven is like.
Well,
Necessary.
in terms of I actually learned about interesting technology today, and then I do want to get to Dan's topic. I deal with tools a lot at work in my line of work, and Milwaukee, the tool company, this is true. There's a big issue with tools being stolen. It's one of the most stolen items in America are power tools, mainly because they're generally untraceable. So Milwaukee has come out with a new technology where the drills have, I'm pretty sure it's Bluetooth built into them, into the drills. And the drills won't work unless an authorized phone is within a certain radius of the drill itself using Bluetooth or whatever the wireless technology is as an authenticator. So it's essentially a key for your power tools. And I thought that's absolutely, I could not imagine picking up a drill. Oh no, I got to download the app to use my drill. And the app doesn't even do anything. It just unlocks it. It's not even like it adds functionality.
I thought you were going to say there's some sort of NFT technology in the Milwaukee drills now.
Honestly, I would not surprise me that, like tap your drill to the box of screws and it knows automatically what to do for that screw. Like, I'm sure they're working on stuff like that.
We're looking at, it's like the printers with their proprietary ink cartridges where you
Yes, you have to use certified screws.
The screws had to be registered, and if they're not authorized,
Scan the QR code on each screw and then log into the app to register.
What was the sci-fi thing where all the guns were fingerprint activated, and if it wasn't your gun, you couldn't use it? You're just like, you couldn't pull the trigger. I feel like you could do that.
That's a real thing that exists. Smart guns. That's a real thing.
But they could do that with drills, right? You have to put your finger on the drill anyways, but I guess sometimes people wear gloves.
Oftentimes they do.
Probably oftentimes.
Maybe like an optical scanner on the drill. You could look at it really hard.
Right, where the little thing is that like shows you if you're drilling leftly. This
crime's a big problem. Guys, why don't we pivot on over to, so it's Dan's topic this week, and I'm very excited to talk about it. Dan, why don't you introduce what we did today?
Yeah, so I asked everyone to try out the new search engine called Kagi, KAGI.com. I think it's free to try, but you do eventually have to pay for it. I've been using it for a couple weeks, so I'll have more to say, and but I'm curious what your experiences were, and what features you used, if any, or if you were just using it just like the Google box, you type things in, get a list of links, or if you explored any of the other features.
You can go first, Sean.
Okay. Me. So I gave it my best shot, so I signed up. There is a free tier. Where you get, I think, 100 searches or something like that per month for free, and then you can upgrade to more searches plus more features. According to the stats, I did 26 searches today. So I signed this in, made it my default in Chrome as soon as I got into the office today on the work computer, and did my best to use it. I think the noticeable difference is there's no ads. I think that's kind of the biggest. I'm just going to do an example search so I can see it. I'll search for me, and I'm not even my own first result.
I searched for the Don't Panic podcast. We're the second link in Kagi.
Hey, that's respectable. Meanwhile, I'm buried down here in the Google results. But anyway, let me start by what I think is good about it. It's very fast. And it's if what you're searching for has a good first result, like an obvious answer, I find they get it very quickly and you can get right to that page very quickly. I appreciated that. Because on Google, you always have to do that thing where you have to scan through the top couple ads before you get, and I won't click on the ad even if it's taking me where I want to go, because fuck them. And so with Kagi, I felt the search was fast and the result was fast. The other thing that was great that I just didn't have time to get into was the customization, which I did a little bit of. So being able to um, adjust how the results are displayed, being able to
Oh.
turn off certain features. Um, they're
I
like,
didn't know you could do that. What can you change about how they're displayed?
so under appearance, uh, like for example, you know how they show like the little icon for the website, the little favicon icon. You can turn that off. You can put the URL above the text title of the page. You can. There's a whole bunch of different. You can have the results in the center of the page or the left of the page. Different theme colors, font sizes. They took me through a little wizard when I first signed up. Like, hey, you can personalize it a little bit, and that was nice. I didn't go like crazy, but there were certain things where I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. Open in new tab is probably my favorite. Because I always right click to open in a new tab when I do results, because I'll do the 5 pages and I'll just open them in new tabs. So the fact you could default to that was really helpful. I don't know if you can in Google. I haven't. My negatives on the takeaway were it was a little simplistic. Like I felt one thing that's nice about Google is the plain text results are nice, but all those other little things they throw in there, I think work better on Google. The shopping results or the questions people ask or the little side panel summary. I felt Google does a better job. Not that Kaji did a bad job, but Google does a better job. And then the other thing was I was bouncing between pages, and even though I made it the default in Chrome, so in the URL bar when you type it in, it was search on Kagi. It was just annoying to not have to be able to have Google work. You had to be signed in, is what I'm trying to say, which it sometimes didn't work well. I'd open up a new tab, it wouldn't stay signed in. I was having some issues there. I installed the extension, but didn't seem to quite work. And the real question comes down to, because I was going to look here, unlimited searches is $10 a month. I think it's good. I think it's a good quality product. I didn't have any real negatives about it. But is it miles better than Google? I'm not 100% sold. Now, I get if you're a privacy lunatic. No offense to people who are privacy lunatics. I get it. You want the clean browser. You don't want the ads. You don't want it tracking you. I get it. Good for you. Pay $10 a month. I don't know that I'm sold. But maybe you guys talking about it, Ken. Colby, what did you think?
Got way deeper into this than I did. Honestly, I've had this. I don't know. I saw this online and it's been bouncing around in my. I think I said it as this a while ago. So I've been sort of using. I did not know you could do any of the customization, which is cool. But the thing I realized using this, I think I agree with Sean. If there's like a one good answer for you, it's usually there. But if it's like and you need to read through many, it's like doesn't feel quite as good for that. But something I noticed recently is like I would type something in and I would looking for like every time in a way that it felt like search results so that I can't find what I'm looking for. And I realized the other day that I've been so habitualized to type something in and then immediately scroll down to get past the sponsored queries that I was scrolling past the thing that I looked for because it's like the first or the second one. And I like just thinking more deeply about it. I was like, oh, actually, is it? Which
That's
was
really funny.
A funny realization. So sorry for thinking you were so bad when I was actually just
dumb.
because of Google. It's their fault.
Your brain.
Interesting. Yeah. So I think what spurred me to look at this was I think Google is still fine. I think I'm going to say the opposite of something you said, Sean. I think Google's still fine. If you're asking a question that has an obvious answer, Google works fine. And I actually find that it's much faster than Kagi. I noticed the Kagi is a little bit slower on each page load, but it's fine. But I do notice that what if you do like 50 searches a day? Um, where I found that Google is extremely unhelpful now is when you're searching for if you're exploring and you're like, I want to look at focaccia recipes. Like the first page is going to be absolute bullshit. Or like, help me find like what's a stupid thing you need to buy? Like a towel rack for the bathroom. And it's like, it's this random website of top 25 towel racks, and it's just a bunch of AI generated garbage. That has totally killed Google for me. If I know what I'm looking for, I'm like, find me this YouTube video. Great. Although even then, I've noticed when you Google like a video, there's a specific Smash video. There's only one recorded match between these two players, and I Googled it. One player is very famous, the other player not so. And the first three results were from the famous player playing other people. And it's like, that word was in my search, but this other word was also in my search. So shouldn't the YouTube video that has both of these words be ranked much more highly than, but those other videos are much more popular. And I'm sure that my guess is that something deep in Google is like, we got to get this person into these videos, because if these videos have a much higher retention rate than these other videos, so if we can get him into here, then he'll watch more YouTube videos, and then that increases our blah 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 blah. So whereas I found that Kagi, especially with my favorite feature, the small web filter, is really great for exploring content. So here, let me share a tab. Come tab, Kagi search. So you can get this thing here. I'll make this a bit bigger. I think this is an advanced search, right? Let me make sure. Yeah, click on advanced search, and then you can get these filters here. There are many that you can move in and out of here. And you search for small web and then something like bathroom towel. Yeah, bathroom towel storage. Wow, didn't expect Walmart.com to be up there. Interesting. This is also really bad, actually. I take it back. Wow, that's so funny. Walmart.com and Sam's Club all on the first page for small web. Let's how about JavaScript ES6? Interesting. Anyways, I've had good results in the past of using small web. Or actually like a recipe. That's what I was using small web for. Like, oh right. There's a whole recipes thing. This is another really nice thing. So if you want to make a instant pot biryani, this thing filters to, again, wow, I'm really striking out here. Unless does this actually have a recipe? No. Oh, it does. Okay. This thing filters for only recipes that don't have a bunch of bullshit. So typically I click on these links. I was looking at rosemary focaccia. Interesting. It really likes these GIF recipes things. And presumably if we scroll down in here somewhere, wow, I'm really striking out.
I mean, I think that's,
Here we go. This is the one I looked at. It's like, boom, recipe right
looks
here.
good.
No bullshit. Yeah. Whereas
On the bad website.
here's my favorite thing about rosemary, blah, 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 blah. Here's other rosemary recipes. Like, oh my God. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is always and it's so funny doing the show with you guys. It really is because the sort of programmer mindset. I don't mean to kind of put everybody in a box here, but it's always this battle between do you go with the popular thing the big company has made good for everyone, or do you get really granular in the customization of the really specialized thing? And Gagi seems like a great website because even if you can make your own lenses that are custom for certain websites, if you want to search certain parameters, like you can really get into it, and it seems very customizable. But at the same time, Dan, like you pull up that recipe, and I'm like, again, like Colby, I'm trained to just scroll as far as I have to on that recipe until I see an ingredients list. And I don't like it. It's not good, but I just do it because that's the way it is. And so it's just always that balance of is it worth the effort? The other thing I would say is, and I was kind of, I don't want to say bummed, but I was like, I get their privacy focus. They do not save search history, period. They don't. And I'm kind of like, that would be a great added feature because I get you don't want Google to know your search history, but there is value in having the ecosystem and all this stuff integrated. And so I think it's a very good product. To be honest with you, I'm probably going to try and use it for another couple days and get a little more into it and comfortable, and see what I find. I did enjoy it.
By the way, one more thing I forgot to mention. I haven't been doing this, but I should start. You can. So I hate when you Google something and it's like, here's Pinterest results for your thing that you just Googled, and they're 100% useless. So I can just be like, no more Pinterest, and then rerun my search. It'll remember that forever. No more Pinterest.
If you search for Pinterest,
that's a great question. Yeah, you don't get Pinterest.com. You just get Pinterest's React app.
wow, that's funny.
So that's my other favorite feature is, I've found that happens a lot, right? And you're probably training yourself to do this too. Like when we Google programming things. What is it? Experts Exchange. There's a bunch of these that are just like rehashed GitHub issues and Stack Overflow answers, and we eventually learn to filter them out. But you can actually filter them out forever, and you never have to look at them again. And it's like when you finally learn how to the zen of to-do lists, where the thing comes up in your life and you put it in the to-do list, and the feeling that you get of knowing that you don't have to think about it and that you've designed your life such that that thing will come up and you will deal with it. And you don't have to go to bed tonight thinking like, oh shit, okay, like I have to do the X, Y, and Z. Let me make sure I get the flights for this, and I got to bring that. It's like, no. I put it in the list so I don't have to remember it. This is like the sort of inverse. I don't have to maintain this in my brain list, the bullshit filter anymore. I've put that somewhere else and the computer's doing it for me.
Amazon links are like that for me, where whenever you search any product, Amazon gets the first 1 or 2 links. And if I want it on Amazon, I will go there and search for it.
Actually, so that's a great point.
That's one I would block right away.
Thank you.
They
I'm
never
block
add
that
value
right now.
That does drive me crazy. So,
you can search for just forums, any kind of forum. And interestingly, it doesn't include Reddit, which could be considered good or bad. So if you apply the forum lens, it's really good for like home improvement stuff. Like, okay, let me just get those like the 55-year-olds in Minnesota. I want to hear what they think about this water heater problem, not like this AI generated blog or this content marketing piece from the Missoula Plumbing Association. That's another thing. You Google like house problems, and it's like, here, this is a random roofing company in Clearwater, Florida, and here's 5 paragraphs of BS about why roofs are important. And if you want to know more, contact us. Like, oh my God. I just want to know, do I need to do X or Y? And Clearwater, Florida has no idea what you need to do in Seattle. Totally different. But thanks for trying it. It was I've been enjoying it a lot. I was curious what you two would think about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep trying it. I don't know if I'm gonna fully commit, but I think it needs more than a day. So I'm gonna play with it. I think you're right. You got to spend time. You got to put in the time to get the result. You got to put in the time to customize it. The lenses look pretty simple to set up, to be honest with you. And I can think of a couple. Basically, put in what sites you want to include, what sites you want to exclude. You can filter it by time. And I'm like, boy, I'd put in a bunch of sports blogs in here. So I could search for certain players or topics or articles that were only published. And one of the issues is, we did the fantasy football on here.
Mhm.
And if you Google, lineup for week 8, you'll get results from 2021. And it's often hard to tell. So be able to say, boy, I only want things published in the last 7 days. Like, I think you could create some cool stuff with it. So it's definitely a neat idea. One of the other things, in case you guys are curious, they actually have I don't know if you've seen this, Dan, they actually have a search stats page where they list the most blocked and pinned URLs on the platform. Would you like to know
Oh.
the most blocked URLs?
Yeah.
Any guesses?
Most blocked.
Is Amazon one of them?
There's not an easy way. I have to scroll through here. It doesn't look like it. Oh, it's down. It's on it, but it's down a ways. It's not like top 20.
It's so hard because this is all instinct for me, the ones that I filter out.
Well, I will say the answers won't surprise you, if that makes you feel any better.
Pinterest. Is Pinterest one?
Pinterest is number 1 with a bullet.
Nice.
Yep, way up.
Get out of here.
Also near the top, Facebook,
Okay.
foxnews.com, breitbart.com.
Oh, those are good ideas.
Quora.com.
Quora. Oh my God, yes.
Instagram, Twitter.
Here's the have you been on Quora recently? Because
Not when
Quora
I have to be.
is frustrating because sometimes you Google something and Quora does have the answer. But now here's what they do. You know how you were talking about, you go on Google and you have to skip past the ads? Quora has inserted at the top of every question a new answer answered by ChatGPT to every question
Ugh.
that you have to scroll past. And it's like so fucked up. It's like, what? This question has answers. But okay. And it is OpenAI paying you to do this? It's very strange.
What is it supposed to accomplish? Is it like a synthesis?
Something.
Maybe. I always assumed it was its own answer. No, I think it's its own answer.
That's weird. I feel like Quora is one of weird home improvement stuff.
Sometimes it has the answer.
It's a good
Yeah.
answer. Yeah.
It has a higher hit rate than Pinterest. Hit rate of 0.
All right. I don't know where the answer is. Pinterest.
There is a certain skill to search. Absolutely. Well, good topic, Dan. This was great. I
Thanks.
love trying new things. This was fun. I certainly kept work interesting today because every time, like I said, I did 26 searches today, and every time I had to do one, it was fun to see the results.
Let me
so
see
at least it was
how many
enjoyable.
searches did I do today?
If they had kept a record, I would have read them because I'm sure there was some good.
It looks like it's in UTC. Somewhere between 19 and 44 searches, depending on when you start counting.
I think my best search today was best gifts for 95-year-olds. Spoiler alert, not a lot of articles on that one.
Interesting.
So if you guys have any suggestions, I am open to it.
Have you done the smart photo thing that you beam the photos to? Yeah.
We did that. years ago, and it was a disaster.
Oh,
Yeah, she kept forgetting. She would turn it off and then forget to turn it back on, and then it sat at her house for like 4 years, just not turned on at all.
No.
So we ditched that one. Although she does have Wi-Fi at her house now, so if we can
That
come
would-
up with a good
Something.
smart
would
home
help.
device.
I don't think my grandma doesn't have Wi-Fi. She's
Well, she lives with my dad now, and he has Wi-Fi, so
Ah.
it's in the building. She did not have it before that, I can assure you. But I'm open to suggestions. If anyone has it, email us. Let us know.
yeah, I'll have to think about it.
It's it's a tough one. Well, good, Dan. Well, hey, Colby's on the clock for next week. Anything you can tease for us, Colby?
no. I have an idea though.
Okay.
Think about it for another 5 minutes.
Very fair. It's Don't Panic, the show that gives you homework.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, I'm already working on mine, so
Ooh.
I'm excited. I think, don't hold me to it. I think there's going to be a little trivia challenge between the two of you when mine comes around, an all-time Sean classic. So
I can't wait.
this will
Always
be
a
fun.
good time.
Excellent. Well, unless you guys have anything else you want to talk about or share, we can make our way to the exits here. I definitely want to, of course, promote. Dan's got to go eat dinner. We got to promote quickly. UpForDebate.tv. Guys, our first sandwiches tier rankings episode is live on the feed and coming shortly. The second half and the finale. Guys, I'm sure we screwed it up in some way. I almost guarantee it. You can listen to me mispronounce foreign sandwiches. I don't know French or any other language really, so it's very funny. Definitely check that out at Up for Debate. It was funny because Matt would say it the right way, and then I would still say it the wrong way. UpForDebate.tv or wherever you get podcasts. Check that out. Of course, our show is Don't Panic at don'tpanic.io. It's a great website. The audio and the video are there of all the episodes. So you can definitely check them out. Subscribe wherever you get podcasts. We're on all the major apps with the video version on YouTube, so you can see our glorious swooped hairs on your screen in HD. You don't want to miss that. And of course, you can get in contact with us. don'tpanicshow@gmail.com is our email. If you have gift suggestions for my grandmother, please let me know. But with that, we're going to wrap it up here. We'll send Dan off to get his dinner. So on behalf of Dan and Colby, I'm Sean. We appreciate being here. We'll see you next time for another great edition of Don't Panic.